But before the president left Washington, he did sign an executive order, big major news today, that will allow immigrant families to stay together, this after crossing the border. Watch.
We're signing an executive order I consider to be a very important executive order. It's about keeping families together while at the same time being sure that we have a very powerful, very strong border, and border security will be equal, if not greater, than previously. So we're going to have strong, very strong borders, but we're going to keep the families together. I didn't like the sight or the feeling of families being separated. There's a problem that's gone on for many years, as you know, through many administrations, and we're working very hard on immigration. It's been just left out in the cold.
Here now to discuss, Ford O'Connell, CivicForumPAC Chairman, political analyst, and contributor to The Hill. Emily Jashinsky, Washington Examiner commentary writer. Lili Valletta, she is CIEN and CEO of, co-founder, by the way, of the organization. John Burnett is with us as well, New York GOP strategic advisor, also One Empire Group founder and CEO. Ford, let me start with you. You know, the pressure is mounting. We know there are bills that are going to be submitted tomorrow, but President Trump had to make this move today. Now, you know, he expressed outrage. He said that he was shocked and appalled by what was happening. Members of his family felt the same way. And the big question, I think, and a big political talking point is, well, you know, why didn't it happen sooner? And B, where do we go from here?
Well, look, I think from an optics perspective, it was smart to sign this executive order because it puts a pause on the over-the-top outrage expressed by many in the media and the Democrats. Look, this is a very fluid situation. We don't know if Congress is going to act. We don't know if the executive order is going to hold up to the Flores decree. Here's what we do know in the entire ordeal. The primary interest of the Democrats was not these children. It was, in fact, full and open borders and eventually the release and amnesty for all illegally detained immigrants. That's where we are, Charles.
Emily, there's no doubt about that. The initial reaction from Democrats has been, well, this is not enough. And when you start to ask, well, what is enough? If not keeping the families is not enough and that doesn't go far enough, then what exactly do they expect to get?
Yeah, that's where this is all going to get really interesting, because there's sort of still this punt to Congress, right? So we have this executive order that's supposed to stop things in the immediate future, but we're still punting to Congress and saying, Congress, do your job. There are a million different loopholes. There are a million different problems with our current immigration law. And to see things change, we obviously need legislation. And so that means Democrats and Republicans are going to have to come together in some fashion. Republicans, at the very least, are going to need to come together in some fashion. And there's not even agreement within that caucus. And so we haven't seen much of a good response, you know, indicating that any of the Democrats' ideas have a chance of passing. Yet at the same time, we don't see the Democrats interested in working with any of the Republican solutions.
We know Senator Feinstein put out a proposal that that looks like it should be dead on arrival. We're talking about really opening up the entire U.S. border to lawlessness, in addition to asylum seekers. But having said that, I wanted to play a sound from Chuck Schumer, because you know, I don't think that he really cares about finding a solution, because for the Democratic Party, it feels like this is a better issue as a PR thing rather than finding a solution. Let's take a listen.
There's only one real solution, much as we would dream for another, and that is the president to solve this problem. Because the odds of any legislation being able to pass without poison pill riders, House, Senate, and be signed by the president is just about zero, when the percentage that the president could solve this problem if he wants to is just about 100%.
Well, we know, John, that President Trump can't resolve the entire immigration issue. And, of course, this is yet another opportunity, though. It began with the crisis with the children, but it's a golden opportunity, in my mind, for Congress to take that one part of a much larger issue and find a solution. Absolutely.
Let's not forget that President Trump stepped up with respect to trying to address a long-standing issue that previous congressional bodies as well as presidents failed to deliver. And, you know, you just played that shot regarding Chuck Schumer. You know what? Just like Ford said, the Democrats don't want a solution. They want to hold on to the problem and use it as a wedge in terms of dividing the electorate to win in the midterm election. And President Trump is actually stepping forward, trying to resolve the issue. But let's be really straightforward here. There is no perfect solution. There's going to be some level of trade-off, and we have to try to navigate and try to get the best trade-off possible.
Lili Valletta, you were actually at the White House, and I have here that you were actually there to talk about developing better educational programs for Hispanics and immigrant children. This is a great day for you to be there on that. Tell us about that, and what do you think was going on in the White House with respect to the motivation for getting this executive order done today?
I think what we saw today at the White House is the fact that we need to find a delicate balance between being compassionate and the country that we are, and we know we are in our core and essence, with also enforcing the law, which is why this issue has been so complicated. What a lot of people are not talking about is the fact that in the last year alone, when you look from April to April, an accompanied minor influx at the border has increased 636%. So this is a compounding issue that puts pressures not only on border security agents, but also on our overall infrastructure and the capacity to manage this influx. So there is loopholes. There is the need for not politicizing this and actually voting on something, and at the same time staying and remaining compassionate. And I think the president showed us today that we can make some progress, but at the end of the day, this is one Band-Aid on a bigger issue that needs to be handled by both sides of the aisle. Speaking
of progress, with your meetings at the White House, do you feel like there was progress made with respect to these educational programs specifically targeted at Hispanics and immigrant children?
Absolutely. So I had a great meeting at the Department of Education where we're talking about ways to actually innovate and reimagine the way education is delivered to all Americans and all children. But what a lot of people may not realize is that the population of public schools across America is already majority minority, and we need to look into the future of our workforce and who we need to remain as a competitive country. So we got to address educational excellence of all kids, but especially these kids that make up more than half of the population in our schools.
Ford, I want you to come in, but I want you to reply. Lindsey Graham put out a tweet, very pleased with President Donald Trump with the issue of executive order dealing with the separation of children and parents detained at our southern border. But this is the kicker. Only Congress can provide a permanent solution regarding the legal dilemma created by the 1997 Flores Settlement Agreement. Is that true? Because we keep hearing, we just heard Chuck Schumer, and we keep hearing the mainstream media suggest that President Trump has a magic pen and can make this all go away.
Chuck Schumer's actually lying, and so is most of the media. Here's the deal. They don't want President Trump to enforce the law. They want to revert back to catch and release, because family units that come in under catch and release, 90% of them disappear into the interior. So basically, the last two administrations, Obama and Bush, had not actually been enforcing the law. Yes, Congress is the one that has to override the Flores decree unless the U.S. District Court in Central California does it. So yes, as of right now, we are in legal limbo, and only Congress can make this decision, or else we're going to continue along this PR escapade where it's about open borders for Democrats and not actually solving problems.
Emily, from what you know in D.C., is there even the slimmest of chance that this can actually be solved, or is it too much of a political opportunity for Democrats to try to get any resolution?
Well, I think one great example that we can look to as a lesson to answer that question is DACA. You know, we gave Congress plenty of time to come up with a solution in DACA, and there wasn't enough agreement among Republicans, and there wasn't enough agreement among Republicans and Democrats to come up with a solution to that. And of course, we're on another immigration issue right now, and they've been trying. I mean, the pressure is on. It's hard to have a situation that's more high pressure than this, and we still don't have much sign of compromise. So I wouldn't be optimistic.